I mean, like genuinely fighting through tears because at that moment I realized just how far I failed. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From 19 with an opportunity to play ball at Alabama and potential to do whatever, to now the reality is when I got my feet on the ground, that's really when I felt the weight of my bad decision. Because I'm 26 years old riding a bike for minimum wage at Subway, only working 2 hours. How can I make a living from here?
I feel like you only fail when you quit.
Absolutely.
When you stop trying. Because who's to say that just because your first attempt wasn't a success, it didn't go off the way you wanted to, that the overall mission was an absolute failure. You know what I mean? Like,
it was a disaster.
I like to use the analogy logging into your checking account. If you put your password in wrong the first time, do you quit? Do you just give up on it? Do you just, this is no longer my money now? You know what I mean?
That applies to all areas of life. You know, you just got to keep taking swings. You got to keep taking shots. And at the end of the day, the reason why to me that's important, because if you realize that failure is an illusion, then you have confidence in every bat, every swing you take,
Right.
every shot you take.
Absolutely.
So you're not just swinging a bat and taking shots, but now you're proceeding with confidence. Going to our conversation yesterday, you know, people are in prison and in bondage, not in a physical prison, but a mental prison because of limitations and belief systems that other people put on them.
From the moment you are born into this world, people start putting their beliefs onto you. So you grow up in a world where everything that you learn is something that someone else has taught you.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point when you have to start looking at the world through your own lenses and figuring out and establishing your own values.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult because a lot of the things that you've learned and a lot of things that you hold true and you believe in, you learn from some of the most close, some people that you love the most.
Yeah.
But what worked for them decades before you arrived may not serve you in your purpose to what God designed you to be.
Absolutely, because things evolve with time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to eventually begin to develop your own beliefs, because people can, again, going back to that analogy of being in bondage, because words do have power. So you have to be very careful of what you say to people that you love when you may think you're trying to correct them or do certain things to their benefit. Choose the words that you use wisely, because if you come in and you're coming in hot, and you say something that you may not necessarily mean, you may try to take it back later, but they'll never forget
you've
what
already
you said.
Left an indelible impression on that individual.
Absolutely. If you tell a child that they can't or they're not going to do something and they internalize it and that becomes a belief for them, you have essentially put shackles on that child's ability to be a high achiever. You know what I'm saying? They're going to start moving small. Shrinking, moving safe, because of what you said to them, and that's that not only applies to children. It could apply to you. It could apply to anybody that you meet. You could say something to somebody when they're in a mode where they're already dealing with their own voice in their head, and you say something, and they'll take that as confirmation. Just because you are going through something and you want to project onto them, and they internalize. You also have to guard your own mental, so you don't allow what other people say to you to put you in that bondage. You start moving safe.
And I like it. I saw it as like kind of like a process. I've never seen this before, but you know, you said something and it just went off in my brain like fireworks. We always want to move correctly. We always want to be smart, but you don't want to be too safe, because once you start moving, trying to be too safe and too cautious, you end up shrinking.
And I grew up in a house where, you know, had one of those fathers that kind of would rather be feared and loved. And I don't know if that was his intent. I think he may have just been trying to do the best he could, but he wasn't that loving, affectionate father type person. So, you know, growing up in that house.
You never really experienced that masculine love.
Yeah, but growing up in a house like that, in an environment like that, you always just kind of wanted to not be seen, not be heard, because you didn't want to be the reason that there was You get yelled at. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to, cause an issue. So you start in your own where you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
Wow. And where you're supposed to feel most comfortable.
Wow.
You start moving.
Shrinking.
You start shrinking.
Wow.
You walk in the house not wanting to be seen or heard.
Wow.
So I had an experience as an adult where I walked into a room where it's my space. But I had a feeling that, I was kind of rocking the boat a little bit. And I thought back to where that came from.
Man.
And it set me off. And I sat with it for a while and I realized like I've been doing this my whole life. Not wanting to be seen or heard because I don't want to cause a disturbance. I don't want to be the reason that things get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to step into who you are. And excuse my language, man, f your comfort.
Yeah.
I got to be who I am.
Yes.
And if you can't deal with who I am as it is, then we
what I'm saying?
Let me get up out this situation, but I can't continue to play myself small in order for you to feel good, in order for you to be comfortable, in order for you to have a good day. And I'm sitting back here quiet, not getting what I need. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. I hear you loud and clear. That's powerful, bro, because my environment was different. Of course, my dad, man, we've been knowing each other for 30 years, bro. You've never seen my dad, have you?
Nah.
You feel me? So he's never been there, which is cool because I had my mama, I had my grandmama. My granddad had passed when I was 9. My mama and my grandmama put so much love into me, and they just made me feel like I can conquer the world. They always made me feel like whatever room I went into, that was my room to go into humbly and take over.
Right.
Especially my grandmother, she never met a stranger. She could walk in any room, any place in America and go meet friends. And before you know it, that is her environment. So I grew up around that type of energy and, they used to make me do little Easter speeches when I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? So I always had the confidence that, not in a too much of a braggadocious way, but hey, I'm here, let's get busy.
Listen, I don't want to get off track, man, but I'd pay good money to see you in a little Easter suit.
I used to hate them speeches, man. My grandma had me up there.
I would pay good money to see footage of Ed's up there doing the speech.
And guess what? I used to always have to go first.
Oh, man.
Like I would be the one in the little, popping off the Easter speech, mad in the mug.
Oh, man, I remember those speeches, but I used to do them too. I don't want to get off track.
I feel like that's child abuse. Because it really did give me confidence, and it's probably why I'm not really afraid to get up and speak in front of people, even though that's very intimidating. I just always try to internalize and remember, hey, I'm here for a reason. Trust your preparation, and things always tend to work out.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, that's who I am. That's my core. That's my belief system. Things are gonna always work out. Not necessarily how I want them to, but they will work out.
Yeah.
And people that's gonna feel you, they're gonna feel you. And people who don't, hey, you can't even really worry about that. But what you cannot do is you can't shrink as an individual to try to please other people.
You cannot do it. Because if you do it and you get accustomed to doing that, that's gonna be your entire life.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss out on so many opportunities, so many things that were destined for you, but because of you have this thing where you like to shrink.
You just want to play it safe?
You always want to play it safe and fly under the radar. You're gonna miss out on opportunities. You're gonna miss out on jobs that you could have had because you were afraid to speak up and say, this is for me.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss out on, if you still out there dating, you're gonna miss opportunities to potentially meet one of the most incredible people of your life because you're too afraid to go up there and say something.
Yeah.
You want to play it safe. You don't want to,
rock the boat.
Rock the boat.
Well, I believe the boat was supposed to be rocked.
Absolutely.
And in certain instances, somebody's got to rock it. Might as well be me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
that makes sense.
I do believe in going with the flow, but there's a time and a place for everything. And when it comes to like living your dream, when it comes to like not just daring to be different, but daring to be great, you've got to rock the boat. You've got to take chances.
You got to stand up.
You know
for
what I mean?
yourself.
You've got to face every challenge with boldness and confidence. There's no other way to do it. It's gonna be hard regardless, right?
It's gonna be hard regardless. And you know, when I see, just like when you put on the spot,
Yeah.
or you're going back to, like you say, when you had to do Easter speeches, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you think about it, bro, if you have to do it regardless, why not give it your absolute best?
And have some fun with it.
Because you're gonna have to go through, it's gonna be uncomfortable regardless.
Regardless.
It's going to suck regardless.
Yeah.
Go up there and give it your all.
Thinking about it like that, almost every time in every circumstance and situation, even with this, you always do better. Well, your message is always received well, especially when you're doing it, when you give your best and you're doing it from a sincere place.
Right.
It always goes over well. And really the people the individual you shock the most is yourself.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people already believe in you most of the time. A lot of people already have confidence in you. It's you. You are the one that will put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. Once you get to a point where you have ultimate confidence in yourself and you believe in your skill set, you believe in your ability, I think it just makes it easier for you to believe in other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for me, if I genuinely believe in who I am and everything that I am, why would I be intimidated of you? Why would I hate on you? Why would I not love you or support you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I believe that greatness resides in me and I genuinely believe that, guess what? I also believe that greatness resides in you too, right?
And I want to see you win.
And that's not a threat to me, right?
Not at all. Because what you doing don't stop my motion.
Absolutely. But yeah, speaking of this thing of failure is an illusion, having ultimate confidence, you know, I'm just grateful for how I was raised and how I was brought up and just God's purpose and his plan for me, for us, and our ability to genuinely make an impact. And what got me thinking about this is, you know, your idea of when you asked me what was my mindset like, and that made me go, you know, to the basement literally and find some of my journal notes. And I read this morning, bro, and it just really blew me away.
That's wild.
What blew me away is how on time it is. I wrote this 9/23/2008. And it's just, man, it's just wild, bro. When I think of how big, not just this platform, this opportunity is, how big life is, and just how much bigger and more important it is than me.
Absolutely. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I ain't that important. I'm just a piece of the puzzle. I'm not the puzzle. You follow me?
Yeah.
I'm a player in the game. I am not the game. You know, and it's all orchestrated, man. It's all orchestrated at the end of the day. So this is from what? Little nerves. 9/23/08. God wants me to display his glory to my generation. He wants to reveal himself through me. He will reveal himself to anyone who seeks him. In every generation, God has a people who are just eager enough to receive his new revelation. Man, I don't even know how I could have got all this at that time, bro. God wants to show himself strong in our lives. And then here's a scripture. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of those whose heart is perfect towards him. God is going to do what he desires to do. We can be a part of it or we can let it pass. Oof. I don't know about anybody else, but I want it. I don't want it to pass me. God gets great pleasure in showing up and showing off for the person whose heart is loyal towards him. We are God's special projects. He wants to use our personalities, our backgrounds, our strengths, and our weaknesses for his purpose. He knows right where we are. Let me see. My handwriting's terrible. It really is. He knows right where we are, and he knows what we need. He knows our dreams, and he's working to see them fulfilled. I repeat, he knows our dreams, and he's working to see them fulfilled. Bro.
It's so on point. 15 years ago.
That's crazy.
While in prison.
While in prison, that was my journal note. And I can't remember all the details, But like I said, you know, one of the things I did is I got up and I used to get in my word, and it could have been something I was reading at the time. I don't remember. I don't know where that came from, but it came through me. And, you know, it just helps you remember that, yes, you're important. You're dope. You're God's creation, his handiwork. Like, bro, we're so dope. We're so special. There's nobody like us.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all have value. And when you realize that you're dope, you're special, you have value, it's easy to love and support the next person.
Yeah.
And not only that, I like the visual that God is working hard. You feel me? To perform his purpose and mission in my life.
I know prayer is important and I have to do a better job myself, but there's power in prayer. But once you get off your knees from prayer,
you got to go to work.
Got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Because God is already in the lab and he's just waiting to give you, he's waiting on you to put forth something for him to bless.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, indeed. And it's all about the action. We should take pride when it comes to our goals and our dreams. We should literally take pride in doing all of the heavy lifting. Once you understand that heavy lifting not only builds your muscles, your strength, and your confidence physically as an individual, but it builds your mindset, it builds your spirit, it builds everything about you.
And your appreciation for the result at the end. You know what I'm saying? All that hard work, that makes the result that much sweeter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to what you said.
And to me, that's success.
Absolutely.
It's not the materials. You know what I mean? It's not, because at the end of the day, and I'm grateful I've been able to climb. I went from a bike to whatever. It's not really important what I drive now. But at the end of the day, transportation is just transportation. Right. It don't matter what level it is. At the end of the day, transportation is transportation. That's not success. It's being able to take pride in the work you put in.
Yeah.
And be able to look back and be like, man, I did that.
Yeah, I remember you saying you used to ride a bike on the side of the highway to go to Subway and work release.
Bro, I remember being so broken. Riding, you remember me as an athlete. I was decent. I had an opportunity.
Right.
I blew it. Fast forward years later, writing my journal notes, believing that God was going to do something crazy for me. So when I get my opportunity to go to work release, I'm literally getting out of prison like, man, I've been talking to God for 6 years every day. I'm about to go kill everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I literally had that belief like, hey, I'm about to go take on the world. Let's go. It's my turn. It's up. Right. Man, I got out there and got humble because of that felony. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to deal with me. I had to take what I can get. Fixing subs for 2 hours a day at minimum wage, and a work release center taking 45% of what you're gonna make. And I'm out there on a bike, 26 years old, 7 years later. All I did was run a football. I didn't finish school because I ended up going to the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had no work experience, and I'm a felon. Plus, the work release center only give you 30 days to find a job. If you don't find a job within them 30 days, they're going to kick you back and give somebody else, because there's a waiting list for that bed. And if you can't find a job within 30 days, they're going to send you back and give somebody else an opportunity. So I had to take what I can get. So with all this faith and all this confidence, boom, I hit the streets running hard, and I got cut down. And I remember riding that bike with my neon vest, my helmet on, just praying to like, man, I know God got more for me. I know there's more out there for me. I know he got more for me than this. I can't get stuck here. I can't settle. I know there's more for me. I mean, like genuinely fighting through tears, because at that moment I realized just how far I fell. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. From
19 with an opportunity to play ball at Alabama and potential to do whatever, to now the reality is when I got my feet on the ground, that's really when I felt the weight of my bad decision. Because I'm 26 years old riding a bike for minimum wage at Subway, only working 2 hours. How can I make a living from here? But I kept grinding, kept believing. Next thing you know, somebody told me Gold's Gym was hiring. Boom, went down there, got that job. It was up from there, literally.